All right, thank you. One more right there. The program's still on your television. Yes, we still have Mr. Ruben, who is a stakeholder in education in Edo State. Now, in the next few minutes, we're going to be looking at the policy directive that Edo State government has read out for schools in Edo State. Mr. Ruben, nice to have you one more time.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Evans.
All right, so the directive came to us in the media, in form of a communique, and of course, I know that it would have circulated. You would have also seen a copy of the directive. Now, it is that in line with the national and state policy on education, the Edo State government, has the Edo State government's education law and other relevant statutory framework. The Ministry of hereby issues the following policy guidelines which all schools, public, private, and faith-based schools in the state are required to strictly comply. Now, the policy talks about approved textbook. Only textbooks recommended and approved by the ministry are permitted in all schools across the state. The usage of approved textbooks and also textbooks that have workbooks in them. Authors and publishers are hereby reminded that no textbook should contain work spaces within its content. Now, what that means is that we have a situation whereby some textbooks have parts of the textbooks whereby you are supposed to provide answers for certain questions, and that now makes parents to buy textbooks year in, year out. It gets the backdrop of what we used to have, that you could pass a textbook from among siblings. You could pass to junior ones another. But because of this new development that publishers have been following, that has somehow been a problem. Now, how would you react to generally to this new policy directive in Edo State?
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Generally, nothing is bad with having a policy. It's a working tools and it's a working material. It's a guide. So I don't see it as I see it as a very, very good development. If we can follow strictly the school owners and as far as well as the government, because if you look at it critically, there are areas that I's need to still be dots and T should be properly crossed. You talked about first one now is textbooks, passing textbooks to siblings. I am happy that even you, Evans, today, you can now believe on what you as a person accuse private schools, even when I was to your studio sometimes ago, that we lobby publishers that. But today the story is there are a book inside. Because of that, you cannot transfer it to your siblings. A private school has nothing to do with that. It is the book the ministry recommend that private school will buy or private school recommend for their students. It's expected that before the ministry recommend books, screen that book. So who is me to screen the book in my office and tell the publisher or the general public I'm not using it when the ministry have recommended it? That is one. Then two, if they said publishers or authors should not merge your book with the textbook, it is good. But let us also look at it like this. Don't you also think if a textbook is sold at 2,000 naira, what book is inside? I'm trying to preempt some persons. And by next session, you now say what book should be detached from the textbook. And the textbook and workbook together before was like 2,000 or 3,000. Now, if you now add them to produce it separately, don't you think what you are trying to cope? One, the cost, because they see that books are very costly, then it will increase. Okay, if you transfer the textbook to your sibling, your younger one, and to buy a new workbook, then the ministry should also help us to tell the publishers that only workbook should be sold, because there are some cases publisher will tell you, I use the textbook to sell the workbook. So if you don't buy the textbook, you won't buy, they won't sell the workbook. Now, if a child is given a workbook and textbook and hand over the textbook to the younger one coming to primary 4 now, therefore the workbook, he has used it, you need to buy workbook, and publishers will tell you they don't sell one, it goes in twos. So the ministry should also look at that area while addressing authors and publishers. That is for the workbook and a textbook in area of handing books to siblings. Then number 2, I know when I was coming up in my primary school, I don't know if there is any other book. What we or Oxford, that is when you have DCCB, Agbo Malakali in the South Lagoon, all those stuff. Either this school is using this or that. But now in a situation, maybe we have almost 15 or more readers ministry recommend. So the school is at liberty of using any of them. So I wouldn't want it to come tomorrow. Maybe a case, a report was also get to ministry. A child leaves school A who was using so author or textbook. He went to school B and the school said that is not what we are using. You need to buy what we are using, because it is easier said than done. When that news will come to this same station, it will blow that the person have violated the law, because the book the child brought from the former school, he said he should not use it. Not knowing, they use book recommended by ministry, but different books. As I
Okay.
speak, if you go to the recommended books, the one recommended by ministry, like Reader now, it might be up to 10 or 15.
All right, Mr. Ekosway, I know that it's only natural that you're trying to defend. I mean, because allegations have been made. But away from that now, let us, because our attention this morning is to actually ascertain the level of your preparedness for the next resumption. That is built only about 2 weeks from now. Now, the new directive also talks about the need for schools to have entrepreneurship centers, training skills for students. Now, I will read it out to you. All executive principals of schools, of junior secondary schools and primary schools in the state are hereby informed that as part of the ministry's ongoing reforms to boost entrepreneurship skills among our basic education students before graduation, a mandatory 4-week intensive entrepreneurship skill training program has been introduced for all GSS 3 students. Now, the question I'm asking, for private schools and perhaps for schools, what is the level of preparation in this direction? Because, like I said a while ago, when you resume by 2 weeks' time, it's probably going to be a new ball game. So, what is the level of preparation, to this question?
Thank you. Um, a Rome was not built in a day, and all figures are not equal. As I earlier said, the policy is good, but I want to plead that those who have the strength and muscle to kick off immediately should please don't hesitate and don't waste time. And those who still need to gather momentum, to gather resources and kick off this, they should please see it as a matter of a priority. It is good and it is nice. Same this station we talk about uh, uh, 12 stream, 12-year stream of education. Then we are talking about this entrepreneurship. It is good. The spirit of 6334 system is still what we are heading to. So we are prepared, but I will plead to Ministry of Education that those who have the strength and the muscle to kick off now in that aspect of this entrepreneurship program should please not waste time. It is good. That is where the country is heading to. Then those who don't have the strength or the muscle or the finance, because still need one or two things to put together, I will encourage them to please see it as a matter of urgency and priority to key into it as quick as possible. Thank you.
All right, perhaps I may just read out some of the skills that the Minister of Education in Edo State is talking about now that schools need to have entrepreneurship centers for. There's the one that has to do with plumbing. Then you have tiling and floor works, POP plaster of Paris. That's a POP plaster of Paris installation. Then events, decoration and management, bakery and confectionaries, hairstyling and makeup, interior design, GSM repairs, satellite, TV antenna installation, CCTV intercom installation and maintenance, then solar installation and maintenance, garments making, agricultural and processing, which includes crop production, beef keeping, horticulture, and of course livestock farming and all that. Now, Mr. Ekoswe, this is a directive, and we understand that there are implications if these directives are not followed. One should expect that 2 weeks maybe just be enough for schools to adhere to this directive. I'm saying this now based on the reaction you made a while ago, that for schools that can take off with this preparation is good for them. So how would you react to the directive again?
I told you the directive is not bad at all. It is good. I buy it. So what I just said is I started by all figures are not equal. If you say 2 weeks are not enough, remember this thing came out not up to 2 weeks now. Okay, all what you read, there not to be instrument to use in getting these children through. Get the manpower. You just rush. Just get anybody who said he have an idea in a POP and plastering installation or tiles and floor. So we still need some time to prepare. I'm not disputing the fact that it is good to have it. But I'm always saying we should strength to have kicked it off now. It's good generally, and it is good to have such a policy at this time, first time as a working document.
Okay. All right. So I understand that advertisements are going on. I mean, I'm a media man. You have a lot of admission advertisements going on for schools, private schools, and all that in the state. Now, there's something I also wanted to know about this new directive, the one that talks about undertaking undertaking of new student. Now, the directive directs all schools that newly admitted students must sign an undertaking of good behavior along with their parents, guardians, templates attached, signed copies to be submitted to the Chief Inspector of Education in relevant areas. What that says is that at the end of the day, when you have admitted your students into your school now, that student or his parents must make an undertaking, sign on an undertaking of good behavior, and that undertaking must be transmitted to the Ministry of Education. Like I said a while ago, you are probably going through advertisement and advertising, calling for admission, calling for students to come to your school. So are you prepared in this regard?
I don't know that undertaking by new tick whether private schools are involved, because when I read it,
Is a directive to all schools in the states, private or public schools?
No, listen, there are some, if you go through very well, there are some it will tell you in public school, In public school, there are some that are directly in public school. When you said about sales of book, read that place very well. He never say private school. He said public school. On no account that list of books should be given. On no account that any staff should be selling books or the student coerced to buy from a particular vendor.
Yeah, but let us
I
be
don't know
careful with the way now because we are looking at words here. You said public schools. Even your private schools are public in nature. I mean, you render your services to the public. So, do you think that
but finance by but excuse me, finance by who? Got the power of financing, claim ownership. Yes, I render public service to the public, but financed by who?
yeah, but this what the state government is trying to do is to try to go against extortion. Extorting, students and their parents, by means of introducing all sort of books and all that. So that's what the state government is trying to do. So the directive probably is not meant for state-owned schools, as you're trying to put it now.
Anyway, you are not the author. Neither am the author of that policy. But I am telling you, this one is notional. Notional. The policy before me, the one I read, I said I don't know because he said all newly admitted students must sign an undertaking of good behavior along with their parents. Template attached. We were not given template. Signed copies are to be submitted to Chief Inspector of Education in relevant local government and a copy retained by the school heads. So I feel, by my understanding, that aspect is directly to public or government owned schools.
All right, so let us also talk about the one that seems to be very, that parents most times are concerned about, the one that has to do with graduation now. Because a lot of parents are so happy that, oh, thank God, they are not going to be bothered by graduation again, most especially
Yeah,
as it relates to the kindergarten pupils, nursery pupils, and
yeah,
all that. But we
yeah.
understand that private schools now, some private schools, I should say, that they are trying to develop another methodology, another thing, maybe another get together. If the state government says that, okay, there's not going to be a graduation, we will be doing this. I mean, so long as it's not called graduation. How correct is that?
A man is not a thief until he's convicted by the court.
Now, Mr. Ruben, we're looking at what we heard in the media space that if the state government has given the directive that graduation in nursery schools and elementary classes has been cancelled, we understand that schools are making alternative arrangements to say, okay, since the state government has said no more graduation, students, pupils can be having this because the concern, by state government is that parents should not be paid, should not be made to pay extra monies for such elementary students. So how correct is that allegation?
I feel the fighter are more happier. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and
Can you hear
clear.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The proprietor are more happier. Particularly, I thank the Honorable Commissioner. If that is the only policy is on that paper, he has done well. Not that private school. See, one thing is this. The media like you will always say parents complain, parents complain. And they say parents are the people coercing proprietor, compelling you with another school. The graduation of a thing is becoming unhealthy competition among schools. You know what I'm saying? Not No party you will do, you will benefit it. And the same thing with that of graduation. Now the question is, do they not pay for it? What do they pay? What do they pay that will enable to organize a graduation party? When you are coming as a parent, my child is graduating. I know of a parent whose child was graduating from ordinary pre-KG. He almost invited all the family for celebration because the child is leaving KG and being pre-KG. So as far as I'm concerned, nothing wrong there at all. But that aspect, that graduation, the only thing I see there, and that is why I initially said we still need to dot our I's and cross our T's. They said nursery, primary, and all that should be excluded. Fine, good, of course. But that primary six should not be doing it. It's okay by me. But I want to also do this minute to also appeal that if they say in line with the provision of national policy on education, there is no need of that primary six exam that we later call MBA, medium basic assessment. There is no need of that exam in line with the national education policy. So if that exam is no longer there, I don't think there's any parent who will start saying my child is leaving primary six or basic nine, so there must be graduation. So it's because there is still exam there. There was a time I tried to wade into this thing. I don't want to mention them. I went to the ministry to say, what can we do? And the report I got is from many people gathered and said is to assess, and no, they said to take statistics of those living medium basic for higher basic to assess them. That is why we now pay such money to enroll, because no one see that. And that's okay. If that is the case, why not also conduct exam for primary three to also assess those living lower basic to medium basic, or better still, the most important of it all, start conducting exam for those coming into basic at all, so that you know the statistics of how many people enter school this year. Conduct for primary one, so you see that the going by in line with the provision of national and those state policy of education. The primary six exam, because now in Edo State we are made to know it's not a certificate exam. There is not going to be certificate in it. So why doing it? Why doing it?
Okay.
We enroll
Okay.
for it. So if these things are scrapped, then it will not go that well with parents. Now, no parent will come to say, now my child in primary four want to join graduation. My child in primary five want to join graduation. No, because they know it's not a certificate class. They didn't have external exam written. So now the exam is still there. Parents will always agitate. My child is graduating. By my own understanding, that policy in education of straight 9 years, primary six is like primary four class. You graduate from primary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or maybe basic. Basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So why that exam at the middle? If it is to say statistics, as I was told by high-ranking officers at the Ministry of Education, Edo State, then why not conduct that same exam for primary three? Or we don't care about them, or primary one, those one, as we want to enter. Those days, my brother, exam that was conducted for primary one is your head, your hand across your head. If it touches your ear, it means you are qualified. But now, that is obsolete. Why not also conduct exam? Let all parents whose children want to enter primary one enroll. Then they know the statistics or assessment of those going to basic one or those going to medium basic four. What is special about that primary six that we must enroll and they must write exam? Thank you.
Anyway, the issue of basic education, I think it's in the concurrent list. So the state government, has the right to legislate and also provide some form of directive on how the policy of education in basic education should be in the state. But let us turn attention from that now and go over to the qualification of your teachers, because that is also another major concern. We understand that as you are placing advertisements for admission of students into schools, also some schools are also placing placing advertisements on the admission of teachers into schools. Now, the Edo State government is also concerned about the qualification of teachers. Now, this becomes relative because for some schools, your qualification is not our qualification. We understand that some private schools still take SSE holders, senior school, secondary school holders, to teach in classrooms, whereas we understand that the basic requirement now is the NCE, that's the National Certificate on Education as teachers to teach. So how would you react to this, Mr. Ekosoi? Mr. Ekosoi. All right. Okay. I think we're still trying to reconnect back to Mr. Ekosoi there. Just talking about the qualification of teachers, because like what we said a while ago, that for some private schools, their own is to maximize profits. Hence, they at times take in senior school, secondary school holders to teach in classes, whereas the minimum qualification that is required for teachers right now in the state is the NC, that's National Certificates on Education. All right, so the program is still on your television this morning on ITV, and we still have Honorable Ikosoi right there. Now, Honorable, if you're there, the question we're looking at now is on the issue of qualified teachers. Now, this is relative in the sense that some schools will say that their qualified teachers is the level of experience, the amount of experience that such a teacher has. While some other schools will say that qualification of teachers has to do with paper qualification, certification, the NC certificates and all that. Now, as you prepare for resumption, you are also admitting teachers into various schools, or the way you're also admitting students into various classes now. So what would you say about this qualification of teachers? Are you concerned, with the fact that some schools still throw away the requirement, the required qualification, as it were?
Thank you. I can't throw it away. The minimum requirement for teaching is NCE. It is and it remains NCE. And I'm sure a good number of private schools engage graduates and NCE. But let's come like this. If you say just what you said, that it is relative, like somebody who read microbiology, BSc, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you, by qualification, is qualified, isn't it?
But it's not a trained
But
teacher.
thank you. God bless. That is what area I'm trying to hammer on. By the education policy, is not qualified. Even though you have masters in that subject, you are not a trained teacher. But meanwhile, to get this trained teacher, because why I first said that is when we are talking, because you hammered on qualification, school cert. Not all school cert that are not qualified to teach. Also, there are graduates who did not pass through the Department of Faculty of Education in any higher institution are not qualified teachers. But I will tell you, I can't tell you now all private schools use those who read the education. That is not true. But we render the services of those who are graduates. Then those who will see probably few, maybe have one or two NC. I see it as improvisation is to improvise, because sometimes this same power you are talking about, very difficult to get. Nobody want to teach because it's a purely skill labor. A young girl prefer to hook up with filling station to sell fuel than to come and teach primary thing. I know a lot of NCO that graduates, university graduates, who do other, maybe doing secretary in an office, a receptionist, or selling fuel in the filling station. Come and teach you. Say no. Even when the school is ready to pay higher
All right. So,
than
all of
what
the.
they are receiving in the filling station or every other one.
Okay. All right. So quickly, let us, look at the bigger question
So,
now.
are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So, uh, schools should please employ the service of qualified teachers. But if instead of to leave a class vacant, who will quick
All right, we're battling with sound quality there. If we can still have Mr. Ekoswe, I want you to quickly react to the big question right now, talking about your organization, the National Association of Private Proprietors of Secondary Schools. How are you, ensuring that this new directive is adhered to? If we can still have Mr. Ekoswe right there. Mr.
I'm here.
Yeah, okay. The question I'm asking now, the big question probably is your association, the NAPS association, how are you ensuring that this new directive is adhered to? I mean, just as resumption is around the corner.
Yeah. Just as I said, there is nothing bad in having a working document like this. Many of them are right hearing me now. Again, I also aware that the state chapter of this association, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, and they've also called a meeting and tried to also send signals
Huh?
to all our members to please key into this arrangement or policy, except the
Memorandum.
few appeal I made before that area that we cannot easily fit in now. 1 or 2 minutes should be given to those who don't have the strength to fix it up now. So we are very, very ready. I'm much ready.
On ITV right there. And I think this is where we draw the curtain on this discussion segment. But just before we go, Mr. Ekosway, quickly, I want you to talk on something that I thought, I wouldn't want to mention here. But uh, I should bring it now that I have you because I know it's very rare to have you. Now, admitting students into certificates class. The State Minister of Education frowns at certificates class. Which are the certificate class now? We're talking about JSS 3 and SS 3. Now, we still hear advertisements that calls for admission into SS 1 to 3. JSS 1 to 3. What are you doing about this? I mean, your association, a NAPS association.
As a matter of fact, that is why I said I praise the Honorable Commissioner. Most of these things are there before, but it was not pared down and circulate like this. Now, if you look at those jingles they play in your station or every other station, they were not produced yesterday. You know what I'm saying? They were not produced. They were not produced yesterday. Banner. Some people like me, I design banner. I don't think I will start going to a designer, a graphic designer to start designing banner for me. If you come my area, it is the banner you see this year. It was exactly the one you saw last year. It's a question of just call who designing. Please give me 5. Print 5 of my banners. In case you now see admission into SS1 to SS3 for any banner, I am sure it was designed before this directive. I know there was a year I designed banner, if not this recent one. I designed a banner. I said primary 1 to 5, JSS 1 to 2, Do you know a lot of parents were coming to us? So you don't have JSS3 in this school? I said we have, but we are not to admit. But they have a clause there. If you must admit, there must be, it must be signed by the honorable commissioner.
Yeah.
I like that clause. The reason is this. Say why I said I liked it. They still give room for admission. What is the admission? The room. Assuming a child and his parents they were living in Oluku, and God blesses them and get their permanent house in Saple Road, and they relocated around that kind July. So will you ask such parents now to still maintain the school at Oluku? Consider the transport and all that. So I'm sure that is why they have that clause.
All right, so we want to say a very big thank you to you,
So
Honorable Ruben. Yeah, because of time now, we have to draw the curtain on this segment. Honorable Ruben, thank you so much for joining us today on the program. Well, the issues are still ongoing. We have almost another 2 more weeks before schools will resume in Benin City. So all these directives are going to come to bear when schools resume. So we're just, trying to prepare the grounds and see how schools are adhering, to see also how they're also preparing for some of the directives that we're giving.